Innovation promotes efficiency in the warehouse and supply chain. Well, Dennis Anderson, Chief Innovation Officer at ArcBest, is here today to speak with us about that very important thing. Dennis, it's great to see you. Welcome.
Thanks, Russell.
Dennis, let's talk about the supply chain right now, the challenges, the really top challenges that you see going on. What would that be? Walk us through that.
Really, there are three key themes that we run into in terms of challenges in the supply chain right now. One would be labor inefficiencies, certainly, or labor shortages, I should say, operational inefficiencies, and then safety concerns that are prevalent really throughout many different facilities in supply chain, but even out on the highways as well.
If I come to you and say, look, I'm experiencing one or all of those issues right now, I'm sure I'm going to need some type of technology to help me work through those things. Can you help me with that? What do I need?
Absolutely. Well, there are a lot of technologies that can help, and it's not always technology. There's process that can help. And, I'm a big believer in process and then technology, but certainly all of that has to rely on people to implement and as well. So some of the technologies that are available are technologies in robotics, automation. We're seeing some, significant change in how people use data to learn more about these inefficiencies or learn more about these safety challenges and exactly what to go do to address them. And so leveraging data, and the buzzword of AI is everywhere, but certainly leveraging those things with robotics and automation is certainly a way to address a lot of those challenges.
AI is more than a buzzword. I mean, it's actually is some substance to it. I guess my question, though, would be this. How is it actually helping those of us in supply chain? What do you say?
Well, what I would say is in terms of the supply chain in general, data is a critical piece of understanding what's going on in supply chain. Knowing where things are is a basic need for supply chain operators, but also being able to intelligently route things. So either around a facility or we've seen in our operations routing trucks, for example. Everyone's looking to, first of all, save costs, but also be more sustainable and not burn as much fuel. So we're leveraging AI to be able to route our trucks more efficiently, either in a city operation or out on the road in line haul. And so that's one area that AI helps. Another area that it helps is when we're thinking about shipper and logistics provider interactions. So logistics and supply chain is very service heavy. Things can go wrong. It's not always understood, what's exactly going on with my product or my raw materials that are coming in to create my product. And so AI can actually help gather that information, but it can also help a logistics provider respond and be there and partner for that customer and give them more intelligence about what's going on at any given moment.
When you say things can go wrong, that prompts me to ask about disruptions. And I guess what I'm really getting at is, what advice do you have for me and for anybody viewing the video today about future-proofing their supply chain, about the operations of their warehouse, to try to be prepared, for these disruptions that inevitably occur to some extent or another. So what would you say?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing that I would say is be informed. It's important that you understand what's going on in the supply chain space. And you do that just by keeping up with the news, keeping up with the trends, keeping up with, what providers are unique and what solutions are coming to market that might be innovative to address some of those disruptions. So being informed is really critical. And then understanding a lot of these options that you have and solutions that can be put together to solve some of those challenges that we talked about at first. And it's really, really important to have a robust, flexible plan. You got to have plan A, plan B, and plan C, and you got to have all the capabilities to be able to call on in the unexpected moment where you got to move to plan D, because that happens a lot.
Sure, you got to have that resiliency, no doubt about it. And here's a practical question.
Okay.
It's one thing to talk about innovation. Let's talk about how you actually drive it, make it happen in your company, make it happen in your team. Very practical question. How do we do that?
Yeah. So the first thing that I would say is, we don't come up with a technology in search of a problem. It's important to understand what pain points exist, either for us or for our customers. Particularly, our customers drive a lot of that. And so understanding what those pain points are and what value can be created by solving those pain points. And then it's a matter of understanding what tools and technology that we have that can either work together or individually, uniquely, go solve those pain points. And so it's very important to understand pain points. You have to understand the supply chain, how it operates, how it works. So you need to understand that customer's operation. Mm-hmm. But then you also, innovation is an iterative process. And so a lot of times the initial solution that you imagined is not the one that lands and the one that ultimately works. And so there's a lot of collaboration and a lot of communication and partnership that has to go on between a logistics provider and the shipper in this case, or whoever's moving the goods through the supply chain. And so it's very, very, very important that there's a feedback loop and there's communication and there's understanding of what is actually working for an innovation to take hold. And it's important as part of that feedback loop to have measurable progress. And so getting KPIs understood that we're going to track to understand how we're going to innovate. So that works with our customers. It works in our business when we're working on things to improve how we do business as well.
Valuable perspective right there. Let's bring this on home and talk about ArcBest itself, because there may be somebody out there that's not entirely familiar with what the company does. So let's briefly talk about its focus. What would you say?
Absolutely. Well, ArcBest, for those that aren't familiar, is a multi-billion-dollar logistics provider. We keep the world's supply chains moving. So we have a lot of those solutions that enable us to be flexible with customers. Everything from ground, ocean, air, multimodal transportation, but at the same time, we're supply chain innovators. And in fact, we're here showing off some of our latest innovations with the Vox suite of services. And so 2 years ago, we introduced the Vox Freight Movement System, which basically transforms the way that freight moves in and out of trailers and is accessed on a warehouse floor. Last year, we introduced Vox Smart Autonomy, which combines autonomous forklifts with teleoperation. So that's another way that we have some flexibility there, where autonomy is not completely available everywhere. It allows us to implement in a flexible way. So back to that flexibility option. And then this week on Monday, we announced VoxVision, which is the next offering in that product suite that we have brought to market. And basically, that turns forklifts into mobile dimensioners using 3D perception technology. So not only dimensioning technology, but also imaging technology. We can take images of when freight hits the forks and when we depart. And so we understand, from that image data, lots of different things about freight, from damages and what's hazmat, what the characteristics of the freight are. So that's really what we've been working on recently and what we're here at the conference talking about.
Well, interesting and comprehensive suite of services, no doubt about it. Dennis, I know you're busy here at Manifest, but you found time to talk to us about this. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for having me, Russ.
Dennis Anderson, ArcBest, talking about efficiency in the warehouse and in the supply chain, your warehouse and supply chain. Thanks for watching.